Psychological projection is a defense mechanism in which a person displaces feelings towards another person, or maybe an animal or an object. Bullies often project their feelings of insecurity or struggles with self esteem by ridiculing another person. Now, Sigmund Freud laid the foundation for defense mechanisms, and then Anna Freud, his daughter, further refined it. People can feel discomfort and project their unacceptable influences or feelings onto someone else. For example, a married man who feels attracted to a female coworker might accuse that coworker of flirting with him instead of admitting his own feelings. So, why do people use psychological projection? Well, they have a desire or trait that is difficult for them to accept, basically. They avoid confrontation and recognition of their own insecurities and cast them onto others around them. It makes it easier to tolerate these emotions, and it also helps them to preserve their own self esteem. And people often question if the projection is conscious or unconscious. It, it's an unconscious process. It protects the ego from unacceptable influences and thoughts. And people attribute these tendencies to others, which then in turn helps them distance themselves from the urges that they dislike about themselves. Now, although it's natural to project when your feelings are provoked, you can avoid projection by stepping away from the conflicting situation. And in this way, you can allow your defensive behavior to fade away naturally. And, that gives you the opportunity then to logically process the problem consciously. And once you've removed yourself, you can then consciously consider the problem objectively and the actions that you've taken or can take to deal with it. I mean, you could, of course, also talk to another person to explore if you actually have been projecting. But of course, these steps are easier said than done because before you can even start to deal with projection, you have to first recognize that you're doing it, and that's the difficult part. A continual use of projection, it can be harmful because the trait can become incorporated into your identity. For example, let's take a father who finds it very difficult to get a stable job or very difficult to keep a job. And that father may tell the son or the daughter, don't even try to find work because there's no work out there and you won't be successful. So, in this instance, the father is projecting personal feelings of insecurity and inadequacy onto the son or the daughter. So, the child then internalizes this message and believes that they won't be successful in life because what's the point? Dad told us that it's just not possible to find a job, and he's living proof that there are no jobs out there. Now, you do hear people saying, oh, you're projecting because you pull them up on their bad behavior or you disagree with them. Disagreeing with someone or telling them that their behavior is out of line is not projecting. And actually, the person accusing someone of projection could, in fact, be projecting their own insecurities because they're being pulled up on something that they don't like about themselves. There's a complicated one, but projection is essentially, in a nutshell, you projecting your feelings of inadequacies or insecurity onto someone else or onto something else in order to maintain your own self esteem, essentially, in a nutshell.